So if you have Cura downloaded now, you have Cura on your system there, Matt?
Well, shortly.
Okay.
They made me get a new computer. So my other one should be fine.
Yeah, I just had to replace my hard drive, and our IT guys didn't do it the way I told them to. I told them just clone it over.
Mm-hmm. Right.
No, they decided to clean install,
Oh, nice.
and then they accidentally tried to install to the old drive.
Oh.
So trying to recover all my old data. I have like 6 copies of every single file.
Yeah.
So my 1 terabyte drive isn't anymore.
Oh my God. Dangerous.
So this is the simplest part of it, and you guys each have a thing that Matt was so kindly printed for you.
Yes, it took me 5 hours.
I figured you're working military time, so it's okay. So this is a basic explanation of what a slicer is and what it's for. So you're going to be you'll bring in your model and how you're turning it, where you're putting supports. Obviously, I have all that stuff up here. I don't read PowerPoints because to me that's irritating. So, and if it's up here, then there's a reason it's up here. Not we probably do it again. So, if I go too fast, let me know. I'm more than happy to slow down. Next one. Okay. So this is why I had you guys download the latest version. And we're going to get into installing the 3DP for your big machine. And a little later on, we'll go into adding other machines. Okay, so like your MakerBots are available in Cura as a drop-down. Okay, 3DP machines are not yet. I'm currently working on that, but I'm looking at about 4 to 6 weeks of non-stop programming to create the machine profile. Mainly because we have such a huge range of nozzles and extruders and machine sizes, and every one of them has to be programmed separately. So, okay. So if you guys are on this screen, for you it'll just be manage printers. Sure. Is the screen you'll be using. So we want to click on the custom FFF printer. I know you guys have that on the network, but most likely you're not going to be showing the students how to send files and start the printer from the network. I do not recommend that because you'll get 2 students trying to send files at the same time, or there'll be a print on there and somebody will go and start printing it without being at the machine.
You can start from the network interface.
Yes.
That's not a great.
Yeah, especially not if you have students that are
Not in this
printing.
setting especially.
Yeah. Okay, so here are your machine settings. The gantry height, you could actually set to 9,999, whatever, if you want. Okay, as long as it's at least 700, you're fine. This is for your machine specifically. So you have the 1,000 by 1,500 by 700 is your build volume.
Where do you go in here to adjust those? This thing,
Okay, you already have Cura.
I'm on that custom FFF printer.
Okay.
So
Okay, right click because you already have, down here, so you're gonna click close, you wanna do that first. Okay, so you're gonna click on your little drop down arrow, and go to manage printers. And now you're gonna go to machine settings. Okay, and this is how you would add your other machines in also. So like if you wanted to run your replicators with Cura, or if you have any other FDM machines, this is the way you would do it. So once you already have it installed, instead of doing manage, you would just do add a new printer. Okay, you're going to want to look on your paperwork. You want to reprint that one and blow it up a bit, check so that you can see it better.
Actually, this is awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna
Study that.
Yep, so your G-code flavor is Merlin, and it does have a heated bed, and we're setting it up for 2 extruders.
Minus 20, minus 10, but I know there's a spot inside. Computer settings, that is, to tell it not to check how to improve.
What are you trying to do?
Install this.
So if you're trying to get this done.
It's starting encodes and all.
Oh, okay.
Because I can't quite read it.
Yeah, no, I'll actually,
Can you give us the electronic on that?
I'll give you a bigger picture of that, and you can get that printed off or whatever,
Okay.
so that you have a full-size version of it.
I just did.
I can't give away the PowerPoint, because of that right there.
Ah. Gotcha.
I got the same machine as you.
So I shut down software out there. And then
That's gonna be different.
So then you
Yeah,
get.
because that's IT controlled by your brother. I just, you just downloaded it? It's got the same issue as you. Yours is dark color. Is it, you have like network or security settings in there where your security settings are high?
Probably,
Are you gonna sit up here?
I just was up here to read closer.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's fine. That way when they yell at me at the plant that I'm not doing my job, I can
Gotcha.
say, yes I am.
I am too.
But yeah, I'll make sure you guys have a bigger, Rick I'll just have Rick email you guys,
Okay.
a screen,
Yeah.
full-size screen capture of that.
That'd be great.
Make it a lot easier for you.
Yeah.
Did you, which one did you choose to download? Did you choose Apple or there's 3?
Should say Apple, Linux, and Windows.
There we go, there's no Apple. Mac for Apple. Did you? Yeah. Privacy. Oh, the firewall. Firewall? No?
So this right here, that's actually what's telling it to do with that purge cycle.
Oh, is the M82? Or the?
Well, the psys start.g here.
Oh, okay.
um,
That's running that macro then.
Yeah, and then also what's activating the Bowman sensor.
Okay.
Because if you don't have that in there,
Okay.
Bowman sensors are useless.
follow me. Let me just update this one thing and I will give you this computer.
I can tell you what the problem is. It's that logo that's on the cover of the.
It's an apple.
You guys are brainwashed and you don't know what's good for you. Because if you stay online, it works fine. What for one?
All right, we're good. We're good, guys.
Okay,
Never
now
mind.
you're looking at the current
All right,
The encode, shouldn't that be automatically?
Nope.
all right, I got it.
For you guys,
It's
one of the
documented.
most critical components actually is
That,
this line right here,
Uh-huh.
this M98.
So now we just.
Okay, because that's what's actually
This part?
activating your filming sensors,
Yes.
and it also has that purge script built into it.
that one.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right.
I gotta read this
Script.
whole user agreement first.
Why?
Of course you did.
What'd you do?
Everybody needs useless reading.
What do you do to fix it?
He's not gonna admit. Yeah, the security setting.
And it's going to be a custom. It should be a custom. And it's going to. And that's where we're going to get to this screen right here. That's what I'm in right now.
Remember all my glasses?
So you need to put in
Ah.
these settings.
Fucking, I have contact lens, you have decided not to wear it today for some reason.
Oh.
Sorry, over there. Yeah. Me too. I can't read it from back there, it's too small.
Yeah, I had to move up.
I got it.
You definitely wouldn't win at the office Olympics, man. Not even close.
Maybe the Special Olympics, but. Let me go check it for that.
I thought you said you were gonna go get my coffee out of your vehicle. Cool. Yep. Yep, once you get that done, let me know, and we'll go on to the next slide. Because there's more stuff we need to do.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go through the extruders.
Yep. And nice thing is the extruder ones are pretty quick.
Code flavor,
Marvin.
Marlin. Oh, man. And then we go next.
Nope. Oh, that's it. You gotta do your G code. But this is gonna give you a lot more functionality. It'll have to give you more functionality than over the MakerBot slicer software.
Yeah, I was using Cura with the MakerBots.
And it does give you a lot more functionality.
Yeah. Rust breaks.
Oh. Yeah, I know you were talking when I was explaining to the other two guys. This line right here, that's probably the most important part. You still want all the rest of it, but that's what turns on the filament sensors.
So this is like all code.
Yes, it's all Z code.
Yeah. It's like code input.
All
Subprogram. you don't got a code. You just gotta understand that they're kind of,
Yeah. Just copy them.
there's letters and numbers.
Yeah, just put that in there, you'll be fine.
I would have said alphabet, but I'm gonna slow it down for you a little bit, say there's letters and numbers.
Pretend you're a medieval monk and all you're doing is actually just copying the pictures that everybody else thinks are letters.
You are for me.
Right, yeah, without that M96 there, your filament sensors are useless.
Kinda like that.
I actually disable mine all the time. Bypass them.
Yeah.
Mainly because I know how much material it's gonna use anyway, and if I don't think I'm gonna have enough, then I just put on a whole new spool, kind of thing.
Is there, do you run into issues with them where they give you false?
Not anymore. When we first switched over to these ones, we were getting false positives, or false triggering. But we found out that it was an issue with the firmware
Okay.
that was reading them backwards, like inconsistently.
Okay, interesting.
So,
That's fun.
yeah. And so once we fixed that, then we haven't had any further issues.
Good.
So,
Let's try this next.
okay, ready? Want something? Very good. Quick finish. Alright, so now go back up to your old custom FFF printer. Yep, go to manage printers. Click on machine settings. And you're back to break screen. Okay. Now we're gonna do extruders. So, you guys have, so basically, all you're really caring about, and I didn't know, get my thing lined up properly, make sure that your material diameter is 2.85, okay, and then your nozzle diameter. And then this is also where you're going to be changing it. If you put in a different nozzle on your machine, you're going to have to go under Manage Printers and change it. So you're going to be at 0.6 on nozzle size, 2.85 on compatible material diameter. And then we're not going to, and then we'll do the same thing for extruder 2, except instead of 0.6, we're going to do 1.
One millimeter.
Yes.
Mike, we can give you the slides too. I know the slides, it's hard to see some of the show the smaller ones.
So on the, and so once that's set, then you would click close, which you can click now. Okay. Now we're going to open up a model. Very simple, very basic, and I do not know how line can do it. My arrow's going up. I don't like this. Yeah, like I said. So basically, this arrow is supposed to be pointing at that little box right there, little hole. It's just like any other window system. You know, you're just opening a file. Browse to location, select the file that you want, click open. So like the file I gave you earlier. I gave him a file too, it's Coach 34? Okay.
Kokomo?
Yeah, coach,
Oh, okay, so you said auto scale. Okay.
10,000.
We'll get into scaling and everything else here in a minute. Hopefully my arrows and alignment improves. I went through them thinking I had them all set up correctly, but I was actually told to get rid of all of this too, the highlighting. And it's like, I thought I got them all, but it's
Well,
not.
We're not here for your PowerPoint skills.
That's good. 'Cause if you are, you definitely know how to place. I barely passed oral communication. So, should tell you something. And I only passed it because I put dancing bears, the Grateful Dead bears, in there, created a gift. And she said no dancing skeletons in the thing, so I did the Grateful Dead bears. You need to be specific with me. That's what it is. Okay. We're just waiting on ground pounders over here.
What's the file?
Coach 32? Coca, or something like that, 32.
K-H-O-C-K-A.
I don't think there was much on that drive, was there?
Okay, there, got it.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna we'll check them out a little bit. So these are the three main icons that you're going to be utilizing. And then I have, yeah, see my arrows are like totally off. And I know I fixed this. Okay. Now you can read this, okay, it's boring stuff. So this is your move. This is probably the second most used area, especially when you're dealing with multiple models. So if you click on your model, now you get the arrows. Now if you haven't clicked on your model, all of these icons are going to be grayed out. You can't do anything. You have to have a model selected in order to access these buttons. Most of the time, you're probably just going to be, you can either click on the model and drag it around. If you click on a specific arrow, it's only going to move the model in that direction, as long as you're holding the button down. Okay, so you see how you're able to move it just randomly? Now click on just the red arrow and try to move it up and down while you're doing that. Okay? Now, an important thing to remember with this is the only way you can drop your parts below the bed is by using either putting in a negative in the Z value here. So you can put in specific numbers. Or you can use the blue arrow and drag it down below.
Now, will the printer realize that that's not part of the model anymore?
Actually, the slicer does understand that, yes. So the printer's not going to even know what you're doing. It's just going to follow the G code. The slicer is going to tell it, this is all that actually exists. And the
That's all right.
slicer doesn't understand that. Actually, there's a lot of people who actually think what you had said, even though that's not what you meant. So go ahead and try that, just drop it below that. So you notice it's still showing the model, even after you've dropped it through the back. It's still showing it below the back. Okay, but when we slice it, it's only going to slice stuff that's above the back. And it's the same if you actually move it off one of the edges. in Cura, as soon as you're off the edge of your print bed, it's no longer a sliceable component. So if you do that, you'll notice that it turns into like a lined component. Okay, that's why. If it's got lines, that means it's not centered, it's not on the bed enough for the printer to understand that it's, or the slicer to understand that it's that.
It doesn't look like coffee. That doesn't look like coffee.
Bed adhesion. Because we sprayed, it had hairspray back here and the stick was fine. And the front didn't have any hairspray in it. So it was- I could have left it, but.
Yeah, put more hairspray in it?
Yeah.
Okay. And my coffee?
Where's that?
In your car.
No, we already discussed this. There, you want your thing back?
It's just a simple thing. You don't need your jacket.
I'm just leaving my jacket in the truck.
Yeah, if you copied it over. Don't have to worry. Okay. Now your corner bird already knows most of this stuff anyway. So scaling. Both of your guys' models came in scaled up 10,000%. Okay, so we're actually going to adjust the scale. We actually want to scale this because this model was created in imperial, or standard measurements in inches. Let's adjust the scale. So when you click on your model, change that to 100%. So that would be, yeah, right there. Just change one of them. It doesn't matter which one because you have uniform scaling turned on. It's going to change all three at once.
Oh, boy.
It looks like it disappeared. Because it was created in inches. So when you open it, or you click on it again, you see right here, it's giving you how big that thing is. 2 millimeters cubed. In reality, it should be 2 inches. When you print it, it should actually end up being 2 inches. So to scale appropriately from imperial to metric, change that to 2540, 2,540 instead of 100%.
2540?
Yep.
For percentage.
Yes, for your percentage. Okay. Now it's actually back to the right size. Now, the other way you could have done that is if you click on your thing again, and you just put in your measurement here. Okay, which right now it should be 50, 80, yep. So it's 2 inches by 2 inches.
So 2540 is 100 inches.
Oh, you didn't scale it back to the 100% first. No, that's right. Yeah, because you're at the 15.
There's no way.
Zoom out. Okay, now if you click on your model. See, by doing 2540, you're actually only at 50.8 millimeters. 2540 is the percentage.
So there's no way to get this to show in
No.
inches.
No. There is a marketplace download that will do, they call it barbarian units. So that way when a model comes in that's been created in English, in Imperial, it'll automatically convert them over. So, but that's a plug-in from the marketplace. And I'll briefly touch on them at the end, about that on there, and slide around on that. So, next we're going to do rotating your part. So to click on your model and then click on the rotate icon. So a couple of important things here that actually has been an improvement with Cura and was always available in Simplify is being able to orientate your part, a face of your part specifically to the bed. Okay. Previously, Cura didn't have this type of feature. It's a fairly new one. I think it's last since 4.0. So when you click on your model, if you have snap rotation turned on, when you click and hold one of the rings and move it, the model will rotate in 15-degree increments. If you uncheck that, it changes that to 1-degree increments to rotate. Now, when you have a weird looking part like this one here, and then I want this face to be exactly perpendicular to the bed, or parallel to the bed, trying to rotate that thing and guess where it's at, and okay, is it right or not, is a real pain. So they actually added this new feature here, which is align to bed. So if you click on that and then click on a face on your model, you'll see that it changes how it's orientated. And as long as that box is kind of like highlighted, every time you click on a face, it will change where it's at. Okay. In Windows, you can do Control Z to undo. I think with you guys, it's Command Z.
Or just the reset.
Okay, so this is reset. And this takes it back to the original orientation that it was brought in at. But say you do this one. Like,
Oh, you're just trying to go back a step? Yeah.
Yeah.
Command Z.
Okay, this Command Z. All right. I know Control Z in Windows and Linux, but it's 2 against 1.
Just because they did something same way for years or
So, in Simplify, if you want to make more than one model, you do Control D. If you do that here, you delete everything off your bed. Okay? In Cura, you have to do Control M. Okay? And you are limited to, I believe it's 49 copies or something. Which to most people it's like, why would I need to do 49 copies? When you got that big of a print bed,
Oh, yeah.
you could be doing hundreds of copies.
Yeah, why not?
It just let me do 99 copies.
Oh, 99? Okay. I knew it was only a 2-digit number. Okay. But what you can do is do that multiple times if you want to fill the bed up with perks. So, make 99 copies of it. And now it's going to take a while because it has to create every one of them models. Another difference between this and Simplify is when Simplify you make copies of a model, it lines them all up on the x-axis.
Right.
Okay, then you have to click center and arrange to get them all back onto the bed. In Cura, you right-click on your model. Here's the
Yep. You'll be done before Spencer's out.
That's what I'm watching, to see who gets done first.
You son of a bee.
And he started before you.
Did I win?
Yeah, you won that one.
Apples, man.
So zoom out on your model so you can see more of the bed.
Oh boy.
You know, it's rendering.
And render some more material you have in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's quite pretty far off. Okay, zoom out.
Yeah, it is. I don't even have a laptop. I can't take it. I have to go to my desktop.
only thing got the horsepower for what I do.
Okay, so the nice thing here though is, say you wanna do, you know, a whole bunch of models or something, but you're actually like testing a print, and you wanted to see which way it looks better. You could go in and change every one of them to be at a different angle, different scales, because each of these is now its own model. So you're not locked into whatever the original one was. You can scale each one individually. Okay. So the other nice thing is you can, yes, you can scale. Yeah, you can scale, or you can set each one to be printing with a different extruder. So because you can do dual extrusion. Okay, so if you look, so, okay, so you can see you got a 1 and a 2. So if you click a model, and then click number 2, it actually will print that model with that other extruder. The easiest way in this case to check that is change your color of your material, which we're going to cover a bit more in a little bit. So yeah, it did kind of change the color at all. Okay. So if you do Control Z, you can get back to a single model, or Command Z. Okay. Take it a couple times to get back. Okay. So, and okay, so cover all that stuff. So this bottom part here where I said that all copies will be the same scale and orientation, that's when you first create them. After they've been created, then you can do whatever you want with each one individually. So, just this is one. Right. The other thing is, if you click, say you changed one model, like orientation or whatever, and then you click this reset, it'll take it back to the way it was created, or the way it was brought, the original model was brought in. Even if you're messing with one of the copies, it will still go back to the settings of the original model that it got the settings from. Okay, so now we're going to change materials. This will be probably you're not going to be messing with this too often, mainly because you're going to be running PLA most of the time, or you're going to be running ABS-X all the time. You know, generally you're going to pick one material and pretty much be sticking with it anyway. But it's good to know how to make these adjustments. So it's literally just click on this top bar here, and you'll notice that there's a little extruder and then there's a little checkbox. That activates or deactivates that extruder. So you can actually turn off extruders so they're not available. One of the main reasons to do that is, especially if you got students slicing and stuff like that, and you only want them to be using, say, the HFE extruder. You know, because you don't want to waste, you know, spending tons of time printing something that doesn't need that fine detail of the HFA. You could just disable the HFA. So that means everything that happens from that point on is all going to be through the HFE extruder. Okay. And then we can actually manage materials. We can add materials. We can customize the settings for each individual material without going into the custom screen.
What about support materials?
Yes, you can run those too. As a matter of fact, on here, it actually has PVA. One under, I think it's under Ultimaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a PVA.
Yeah.
able to, I think I'll go into this a bit more in depth later on, how to customize materials. So this first part is a good overview to printing, what you'd be trying, having the students do. Generally, you're not going to want them to get into the customized stuff, especially new students. Okay. So after you notice we have just a few basic materials here for companies. So these are your companies, and then these are the materials they offer that are in the Cura software, and then usually they give you color options. So,
And can you adjust settings for different colors?
yes,
And my transparent runs completely different than my
yep,
solid color.
and they will. And yellow should always run about 5 degrees hotter. Just because of the material that's in there, it messes with the thermal properties.
Okay.
But we'll get more into management materials a little bit later.
Good.
Okay, so this is what your students are primarily going to be using. So these settings up here are based off of your nozzle diameter. So your nozzle, the point, because we set your machine up with a 0.6 nozzle, realistically, you're going to want them to print between 0.15 and 0.4. That's the range you want them to run in. Okay. Cura automatically creates this bar based off of the extruder. Unfortunately, we have no control over this part of the software. Okay, and then we have our infill percentage. This is based off of a grid infill, which is the default. Gradual infill actually starts out with, like, say, 5% at the bottom, then it'll actually go up to approximately 90% towards the top of it, and it'll do it in stages. And that's just a good way to not waste a lot of material on infill when you're only really concerned about a top surface layer kind of thing. This is also where you set your support. You turn it on, and you can actually set which extruder it's running from. So if you set material 2 as PVA, and you change this to extruder 2, it'll print your model in one thing, it'll print your support in another. Adhesion, that's the rim that's around the outside edge. Okay. We can do a raft if you need to have a raft, or if you'd rather have a skirt. Those are all done under the custom mode here. And we'll touch on some of the custom settings, but not a lot. Because there's a lot of them in there, and so this is what the profile does. This is your, in Simplified, this would be called your, I think in your replicators, you guys can adjust this also. In your microbot slicer, you can adjust layer height, right? That's what these are in here. Okay, they just call it profiles. Okay, and again, within 25 and 75% of your nozzle diameter. So with your 0.6, you're going to go 0.15 to 0.4 is what you're going to use for 0.6. For the 1 millimeter, you go from a 0.25 up to a 0.75 for your layer height. If you need something outside that range, put a different nozzle on the machine or use the other extruder. So that's why I always recommend doing the 0.6 and the 1. It gives you a really, really good wide range of layer heights just between them two extruders without having to keep swapping nozzles and then recalibrating the bed and all that kind of stuff. Just to give you an idea of print times, everything else being the same, just changing my infill percentage, or my layer height, these are the print times for that model that I had on the previous screen. A little triangle looking one. Them are the print time estimates for each is the default. Personally, I like running 10%, because 20% just seems like a waste of material to me. If I want a solid part, I'm gonna go to custom and adjust my shelves. And just get rid of info altogether. Okay, so now we're gonna get into modifying the profile. This is stuff that you may wanna do before you let your students get in and play with these settings. So when a student screws something up, you got a better idea of where to look to see how to fix what they messed up. So over on the side here, once we click on the custom button, it's going to change this entire screen. So instead of seeing print settings, we're still going to see the word print settings, but now here's our profiles. These are our base profiles that correspond to the number dot system that we had before. So we can actually click on this arrow, we're going to drop down, and it will show all the current profiles for your machine, including custom ones that you create. Okay. I would stick with going to just the basic until you're much more comfortable using this software, whether it's on the 3DP machine, on your replicators, on your ANET, whatever. Okay. Now we're going to expand out I'm going to concentrate on these areas mainly because the shell, the infill, and I've got a few of them that I'll go into. But they're the ones that usually you're going to want to be able to tweak. And one of them that you definitely want to tweak is your wall line count, especially with the 0.6 nozzle. So Cura defaults to 1 millimeter, and it rounds down. So if you do a 6.6 nozzle, it's going to do a single shell. So I recommend you change your wall line count to 3 minimum with 0.6 nozzle. Because that'll give you 3 parameters, and it's going to make it a stronger model, and it's not going to feel as flimsy or as translucent. Okay, and you can do the same thing with both your top and bottom. Now, you can either do it by line count or by wall thickness. Okay, and that's why I prefer just doing the wall count, because it's easier to keep track of how thick things are going to be. Because you know what your layer heights are, especially here, you know what your nozzle diameter is. So if I say I want this to be 3, I know that's going to be 1.8 millimeters thick wall. Because it's just a multiple of however wide your nozzle is. And same with the top and bottom layers. You know, if I want it to be 1.8 millimeters thick shell around the entire model, I would set this to 3, but because I'm running a 0.4 layer height here, okay, that's my individual layers, I'm going to want to set both of these to 4, because that'll give me a 0.16 all the way around. Does that make sense? Answer the what you do.
No, just messing with the different settings.
Oh, okay.
Wonder why there isn't like if you're making this model, why is it not giving a suggested infill?
They just default to 20%. It's just it's 20% for some reason is what like everybody fell to. Is I just figure out why.
Okay. I mean, that should change based off of your layer thickness.
your infill percentage
I'm just saying if you're doing like a top layer, or, you know, it's heavily weighted, or
Right.
the, how far it's spanning from one side to the next, like there's gonna be a lot of different variables that if you change those, then that infill should change.
well, and actually the percentage is based off in, the bed size, not the model. Okay, so whether you're printing a part that big, plus a part that big, it's based off in however big your printer is.
That makes even less sense to
So
me.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
It's absolutely stupid. And nobody has fixed that yet. I mean, you should be able to customize how much infill in a certain area.
That makes sense,
of the model.
Spencer. We're talking about on the part,
Um,
so it's like this.
For the infill pattern, or,
So your model, that one's thick. On the inside, you'll have all the support structure, right? Remember
you
that?
can look on the inside of the,
I guess this is kind of a good example, but, so, this is
That's
essentially,
actually infill.
yeah, for the top. See how big those squares are? So we were saying it's 20%, so if our print bed is as big as this light is here, then it's going to have this grid based off of the size of that print bed,
Yes.
like this. That's how big, like we'll just call this 20%. Okay, so what if your model is this big?
That's,
So you're missing
that's
all, you're missing
yep.
all the support
So
here,
it ain't
it's
gonna
all
make
support
it-
here, it's all support here, but it's
yeah,
support
you
here.
can make more fine.
So you need to make it like
You need
80%.
to
So
get, yes. Exactly.
something like that, so you can guarantee that you're having enough.
Right.
So if you had a smaller, if you had like 20% on the MakerBot, your print bed's this big. Okay, so that then your infill can look something like that,
Right. And
which
now-
is equivalent to whatever the 80% would be on
On the
your
big one. Right, so yeah, if you change this to 80%, you're gonna have really, really small.
Yeah, it's almost solid.
Yeah, it's almost a solid part of it. Yeah, having a
That's pretty
flexible
stupid.
variable,
That's probably the
Yeah.
worst. That's probably the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
and that's a software thing that's in all of them. I don't think I've seen any slicing software that doesn't work off in that type of a basis. And even Rocketeer and Slip 3R, they do the same thing. And MakerBot software does that too. They all base off in bed size for percentages. So maybe they just don't want to do the extra math. So when we're dealing with the info, and there are actually, so the variable,
Yes, if you're at 20%, and your model's only 20% of the entire bed, you're not getting infill.
Yeah.
and that's why doing things like the print preview after you slice the model is very important.
Yeah.
Because then you can go through and look and see, okay, do I have support in the right place? Do I have enough infill in there? And sometimes even just turning your model 10, 15 degrees and leave it in the same spot, all of a sudden now you have more infill lines in there, just because it's now intersecting a new location. So you do have different patterns. Honestly, most people use either grid or triangles, are the two most commonly used. They're quick, structurally they add a lot of good support to it. Most of the rest of these, I guess if you like playing around with things.
Yeah, they're fun to play with.
Yeah. Or if you're not doing top layers, so like this model was actually specifically sliced with 0 top layers. That way you could see the infill pattern. So doing things like the concentric or the zigzag, stuff like that, that could be a visual component to your model. Or we actually have customers who will print with no top layers or no bottom layers, one of the two, and fill it with epoxy to make a very solid model for machining, especially for like hydroforming kind of thing. Because then you can get some really good geometry for your bucks and still get the rigidity that you need to withstand the stroke cycles.
And you can, like, when you're slicing it, you can see what your infill looks like.
Yes. Yep.
Like we build aircraft, probably good to make sure it's all balanced and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah, like with those, you're not gonna wanna have, you're not gonna wanna have too much infill, but you do need infill, for sure. If the wings don't have what they need, like the ribs, then you're gonna have issues.
Yeah, and
Especially when it impacts ground, like floating with smithereens.
And the more infill you put in there, the heavier it's going to be. So, I mean, you got your weight to infill ratio that you're going to need to kind of work out. One of the easy ways to do that is print like 6 models that are exactly the same and just change your infill percentage. And then once you find a percentage that's kind of where you like it for weight, then play with the patterns and see what the weight differences are. And Cura will give you estimated weights of a print, but that's taking into account everything, including support. So, yeah, most of these here, honestly, aside from like playing with them, I pretty much always either default to the triangles or the grid. They seem to be the two that give you the best speed, best material usage, and still give you the structural strength you need. If you got a lot of walls, like flat walls and sharp corners, triangle seems to do better for the edges than the grid. Just because it is giving more surface area for them top layers to rest on.
Let me add to that one thing. For example, just doing a grid pattern and just squares. Be aware that extruder is not going to stop and leave a gap where the other line's going to come across. So you're going to hear it drag across, go tick, 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 as it's coming back and going across the other way.
I'm just opening up Cura on my machine here real quick.
What do you say you normally print temperature-wise?
Depends on the
PLA.
extruder, PLA, 220.
HFA.
220.
You're what? I usually do about 215.
Not a lot of difference. And I may, it depends on the print and the orientation of the print. I'll adjust as I'm printing based on what I'm seeing. If it's really glossy, I'm too high. If it's having extruder problems, I'm too low. Extrusion error.
Well, because the make box run by default at 215, but I bring them up to about 230, but only because they're not enclosed, it's not a heated bed, so you need it hotter in order for it to grab.
And you can-
Otherwise, it cools off too rapidly with too low temperature, so we increase it by 15 degrees at one time. Move that under. That might change once we get into
Correct.
into this other room, but
Right. Your atmosphere has a lot to do with temperature.
Okay,
And so, and your orientation of your front, you've got 2 fans on the back, and the one on the fan on the front, or HFP. If I'm having issues, or I want a really good finish, I want my fans hitting the backside.
yeah,
Or
you
I
want
can
them
rate
to cool down.
45 that, and then I get a little different flow around.
we usually bring our fan speed down dramatically on the box. problem is that when we don't,
Start getting.
on your base layer, but
it starts doing that.
do you run the fan on the base layer?
No, I bring it way down.
Okay.
Like,
I don't run the
You don't even
fan.
run the fan.
I don't run the fan at all on the base layer.
Yeah, and
And
usually.
I keep the fan on after we get past first layer.
Yeah, either layer 2 or 3 is usually where I will start the fan. I'll have it off until completely. So I just sliced that same model, triangle infill. I'm gonna click preview. I'm just doing this to kind of give you guys an idea of the because you're asking about the pattern and stuff like that. So if I come over here, which I'll be covering shortly, and kind of slice down through it,
where do you split on?
so over on the side here, so after I sliced it, then I click preview. Okay? And I click this little dot over here and just drag it down a little bit. And that allows me to look at the model internally.
Layer by layer.
Yep. Okay, so,
Yeah, if you don't do that, you're doing yourself a huge disservice.
yeah, and you could really get parts to screw up over something that you would have seen in 2 seconds of doing this.
We do the same thing on
Yes.
the,
And,
in the
and,
clock and the format.
Yep, I recommend that with every slicer and every printer. Look through the preview. It takes a few seconds, but it saves you so much headache in the long run. So right now I'm at 10% triangles. Okay, and it's 3 hours and 10 minutes. So I'm going to change it to zigzag. I'm going to keep it at 10%. And you notice the model went gray and disappeared. Because I'm still in preview mode. So you can see up here, preview still turned on. So all I gotta do is hit slice again. And it's gonna reslice it, and then I'll reopen that model. And it's gonna keep it right at that same point where I left off before. Same amount of time, but look at the density difference. Okay, it looks like it's more dense, but in reality it's not. Because it's doing one layer this way, the next layer it will do this way. So that it's actually rotating every other layer, the direction. And then we could actually go to lines. Because this isn't a very big model, it shouldn't really affect time that much anyway. It should really about 3 and no, it does average an extra minute. But it's doing the same thing. So if I put this little arrow down here, it'll actually play through printing.
Kind of fun to watch.
Way about an ounce.
So it'll actually play through the entire building, one layer at a time. Which if you have multiple models, may be worthwhile. Because you got 2 extruders side by side, if you don't have them laid out properly, one of them extruders could be running into a model. It's on the back. So by doing the preview, you can see that. Because they'll be printing here, so say it prints this model here, starts printing it, and then it jumps over to print this on this one here. So when it's moving around here with the active, say the HFA extruder, that HFE is over here smacking this model. So I may want to change the order that it's printing things in. So I may want to print on this one before coming over to print anything on this one. And that's why having your offsets dialed in on the Z between the 2 extruders is important, because you want that extruder to clear any previous models that are on the printer, so that you don't run anything.
I don't understand where you can see.
Check it in,
Alright,
making sure everything's up and running.
alright,
I don't understand where see the two nozzles, because I've got two running at the same time right now, different infills.
Yeah, you won't see two different nozzles on Cura. It's something that you just know that you have two models. Actually, change your color scheme. So click on material color. Oh, you got the same color material, that's all. On both extruders. So go back to prepare. I'm going to change that row to click square. Click on your generic thing up there. You change one of them, just change the two different colors. So click where it says PLA, go to generic. Oh, okay, that's right. So go to Ultimaker. Generic says just a single color. And then do PLA. And just get a different color so you can easily visualize it. Just hit E. Now reslice it. And with the pen slicing, then go under preview and have that set to material color. So what I was just talking or explaining to him for you guys is when we're under preview, so we got different types of color schemes. So right now mine is set to line type. Okay, that means it's going to tell me that orange is infill, green is inner shells, blue is outer shells, we'll go all the way up to the top. Yellow is top layers, top and bottom layers. You know, it gives you a color chart here anyway. And you can adjust those. You can just click on them and change them if you want to.
But that still isn't showing me where,
So if we switch back to material color, so let me copy this model over. Give you one copy. So because we know what the offset is, and unfortunately none of them will give you the both extruders moving visualization, but we know that there's an offset between the two. So if we switch, I got mine set to just a single extruder. I have it under prepare, because I have my other extruder turned off. So it has a little X. Turn that on. I'll put this model here, and where I say print that with that extruder. Now it's an obvious visual difference between the two. So I'm going to slice it. Preview. Okay, so if I scroll down through the model a little bit, and I click play, okay, you see it's printing on this model first. Okay? It's going to do all the stuff on this model for this layer. And then it's going to start printing on this model. Okay? And that's pretty much the only way you're going to be able to tell that, oh, my models might be too close together. Okay? In this case, this is the way we would want it, because we want the HFA to print first. That way, the extruder is clearing everything that was printed previously. The E is going to clear everything that was previously printed. There's going to be less of a chance of a collision between the extruder and the part.
you understand why, Hunter? Or Mike? The HFA, for whatever reason, we have it set
printing over here, it's gonna print, even if the E comes over, it's still that far above it. Correct, right?
Yeah.
So you come over, so even when you move over to print with the A, or with the E, so when we go to print this one with the E, we don't have to worry about the A running into this, because it's already high enough. Because it just printed that, so it's still above that surface. Okay, but when we're printing on this one, the E is not going to run into this because it's already lifted up to that next layer. Okay, and that's part of the reason for the offset, is you want the one nozzle to always be able to clear the other one's print. And the reason that the E is usually set slightly higher than the A is because it does have a bit higher of a flow, so that it can compensate for that little bit of gap that we need mechanically. The flow rate will actually compensate for that slight difference and still be able to use with the previous layer, even though the layer thicknesses are exactly the same. Okay? And they have to be the same. Whenever you're doing any dual extrusion type printing, your layer heights have to be the same. Especially within Cura's, there are some tricks to do differences, but yeah, you need to really know both your machine and software in order to pull that kind of thing off. I only mention it as here's something that can possibly be done, but yeah, you need to spend at least a year and a half playing with the printer, any printer, before you even try it. So, I don't even know. So. Okay. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do customizing support. We're not actually customizing support, we're just changing where it's going to print, or where it's going to put support. Cura only allows for support blocking, which is a much more advanced thing anyway. I don't know if you've even really played with that.
Not much.
I mean, it's really finicky, and it's not there, so I don't even bother with it. If I need custom support, I go to Simplify, just because that's what it's excellent at. Basically, all we're really looking at, though, is going to be whether or not it's touching the model on the bottom, and also what the overhang angle is. So touching build plate means that anything overhanging, okay, so touching build plate, it's only going to put support where it goes from the model all the way to the actual print bed. Okay, so you notice there's no support here because these parts of the wings are actually over the body of the model, so it won't put support there. Now, if we say everywhere, it will put support even on the model itself. So one of the better spots is right here at its ear. You can see it actually goes from the body up to the ear when I do everywhere. When I do just touching build plate, there is no support at that point at all. Okay. This is kind of important, especially if you're dealing with fitting and how much work you want to have to do afterward, because you have to take that support off. If it's touching the model and you're not using like a dissolvable support, or you don't have your offsets just right, you're going to leave scarring on your model in more places than just on the underside. it's easy to adjust, especially for like a wing or something like that. You know, if you got an undercurve or something like that, actually want to be your cockpit, probably. You know, if it's got support underneath, it's easy to sand that and still keep it aerodynamic. If you have it on the upper side, where it's hard to get in there and sand, you're still going to have that scarring. So jumping back and forth between the two different types, to make the difference between 5 minutes of sanding and 3 hours of sanding on your model to get the same end result. Okay. Next part is the overhang angle. So this is working off from 0 to 90. So 90 degrees is straight up. Okay. So, or no, 90 is straight up and up. 0 is even with the bed. 0 is with the bed. So that's why I kind of showed this. You know, this is at 40%. That's at 70%. Okay. One thing a lot of people don't realize is this grid you see on the bed being projected, there's a reason for that. And it's not just to let you know where the bed is. When it's calculating where it's supposed to be putting support, it's looking at every one of them squares. Okay? And your support density, so yeah, it's looking at each square for the overhang angle, or whether it needs to put support there or not. Okay? If you go into a more advanced version of the custom, because when you click on that, you'll see that there's custom, basic, advanced, or intermediate, advanced. You can actually adjust the density of the support, which means that the squares are getting smaller. That it's looking at to determine whether or not it wants to put support material in that location. So it's looking at every individual square to determine whether or not it needs support material. The easiest way to think about it is take a piece of window screen and look down. That's what it's using. And then the support density is, okay, how big are them squares in that window screen? Am I looking at, actual window screen, or am I looking at chicken mesh? Or am I looking at a chain link fence? There's different size squares. That's what the density applies to for the supports. Okay, slicing. So, you guys have already done the slicing part. But that's why you want to do, and this is why you want to have and use preview. Constantly use preview. And then the other thing will be the save to removable. So after you sliced it, you did these two buttons. I think I have a preview. Yeah, I think I have one that will cover the save to removal in there. So, yeah, I even capitalized it because it's that important. And then you have the different types of previews. So material color, basically in simplified, that's the same as previewing under tool head. Basically it's showing you which model is being printed with which extruder. Line type, that's one where it's your helpers, your support, your infill, your shells, that kind of thing. Feed rate is your speeds. I've never used it, don't say you need to. Layer thickness, within Cura right now, there's not a lot of use for that. Within Simplify, we have a thing called variable process settings, where you can actually change layer heights within a model along the Z. And I think that's something Cura's coming out with, so that you can actually have variable settings for layer heights, which gives you smoother especially when you're dealing with a lot of curvature stuff, getting rid of that stair step in can be huge. Save you tons of time. Now, so if you click on the travels, that will show you the travel movements of the head even when it's not extruding. So it's going from like one point in the model to a different point in the model. Or if you have multiple models, how it's jumping from one spot to another. By default, that's turned off. If you're getting stringing, things like that, you may want to turn that on to get a better idea of where it's coming from in the first place. All right, and then saving. Okay, I did have one. All right, so once you're all ready to save it, and just before taking it out to the printer and stuff, you're going to be saving them out. So when you click, or when it just says save to removable, it's going to look and see what removable devices you have on your computer. If you have more than one, it will default to the lowest alphabet one. I guess would be the way to put it. So if you got, say, a jump drive, an SD card, and an external hard drive, and they're EFG, when you first start, this is going to default to E. The other one will show up once you click on the arrow. So that way you can pick where it's going. Or you can just save it to a file on your hard drive or onto the external, your external media. If you want to do post or pre-process adjustments to your G code, save it to a file. That way you can save it on your hard drive, make the adjustments, save it back out. So putting pauses in your command, that kind of stuff. So editing the G code, save it to file, don't save it directly to the drive. So, any questions? Sir?
So preferred print heat is 220-ish Celsius.
Yep.
And then the bed heat, what was that preferred? I forgot that one.
60.
Okay, yeah, okay, put 60 in there.
Yep.
So, and then cooling, did you go?
I said cooling. Okay, so here it defaults to turning the cooling on at layer 2.
The fan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh.
the default for zero. Okay, so as you can see, when you're looking at your custom screen, you only have like 3 options here, 3 or 4 options under custom. Also, something, see all these that I have, this is where students,
for like
and you
infill?
will, yeah,
Oh.
this is all just infill.
Oh, I was like,
This is where, when students start doing this stuff, this is where they're gonna start messing around and screwing things up for you. Because that's why I said when you click on these double arrows or triple arrows, or things, when you click on these here, okay, it actually opens up these windows. Okay, and so basic, under info, this is all you get. Okay, this is all you should let the students have. Student base. Okay. It's
Holy shit!
student
God,
base.
I about died there. Oh.
I forgot CPR, sorry.
Also, note this, in case you guys didn't, I'm sure you already messed with Spencer. because you did, remember the first initial settings, you set the different extruders? So if you did grid on both of them, the grid here is gonna be a lot larger than the grid on here.
Right.
Even though it's 20,
So actually, let's change that. We'll change this one to the same. So this way we have lines on both. One's 10%, one's 20%. One's just going to be 20%. The green one's going to be 10%. It's the same info pattern.
Yeah, this is where I got it too. So I was
so we
looking
put that number 2 on 10%.
So you have two up there, because you'd go in there and print out two different models.
Yes, I would actually be printing two models at the same time. One with HFA, one with HFE.
Like you, two balls at the exact same time with two different extruders.
Well, you're gonna extrude one model and it's gonna jump over and extrude the other one.
Yeah, it's still working one layer at a time,
Yeah.
but it's actually switching back and forth between the models.
Okay.
So it'll do a layer on this one.
Yeah,
and
layer
over
here,
to
layer
the
there, layer here, layer there.
Yep.
How do you get to show the two? I have one.
So remember how I did control count?
So you gotta go back to prepare. You can't do this under the preview. You gotta go back under prepare,
I'll select it.
and then you do control M. So now you have two models. And then what I did was I clicked on one of them and clicked on extruder 2 on the side, right here.
Click on machine, click on this one, extrude one of the colors. Now when you go here,
Yeah.
like, so regardless, even if you, doesn't matter which one you click on, what we're talking about here is, there could be 1,000 models on here, 20 of them are extruder 1, and the rest of them are all extruder 2. When you go extruder 1, you're only gonna have the 20 models that are designated for
Extruder 1.
extruder 1.
Yes. Yeah, so depending on which profile thing you're on. Okay, so the other thing is up here at the top where it says, right now it says normal 1.5 or 0.15. If I click on that, it gives me them same dots that we had on the basic screen or your default screen.
Just press OK.
Okay, but we can also create a new profile at this point with all the settings that we just created, our info pattern, our info percentage, all that stuff. That way, when we bring in another model and we want them same type of settings, we don't have to go back and recreate them all. We can just select that particular profile. So it saves us a lot of time in the future, okay, especially when you start fiddling and fine tuning like every single setting, and there's guys who do that. I mean, YouTube's full of them. They will sit there and tweak one parameter, just to kind of give you an idea here. I'll close that out. I'll go to my normal settings. And the way I normally have my Cura set up. Okay, this is the way my Cura is normally set up. So I have access to literally every single setting within the machine, or within the slicer, including all the experimental stuff. So just this one feature here, tree support, okay? As soon as I click on that, now I have all that stuff that I can adjust. And there are guys who literally, that's all they do. They will adjust this tree branch angle, go through 15 different percentages, printing every single model that they're doing this with. And then they'll change the distance and do the same thing. Right, so you can delve as deep into this rabbit hole as you want. I do not recommend it for the students. student should either be under the recommended, which is this, okay? Or if they are gonna be under custom, keep them on basic. Okay, because basic does not give access to, especially,
We need to create a 3D printing class. I've been trying to tell John this forever. A how to.
there is so much information, I mean.
I tried. Couldn't get it off the ground on that.
Well, we can talk more about that
Yep.
later.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, but this is also, so even under the basic custom settings, they're gonna be able to do things like set their skirt, brim, wrap, things like that. And so it's still giving them some functionality without giving them access to every single setting. Because believe it or not, you change some of these settings improperly, and you just create a world of problems when you go to print. It'll work great on a computer. The machine is great. It looks good on the computer, yeah, until you get to the real world. Then, yeah, you take your computer and. My dad was a machinist for over 30-some years, so yeah, believe me, I heard about it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as I got into engineering and stuff, yeah, he was not as happy with some of the,
Cura's nuts.
yeah.
There's so, I've went partially down the rabbit hole on some of this stuff and playing with
You
everything.
get sucked in really, really
Yeah,
quickly.
it's insane how much you can manipulate.
Yeah. So, okay, so the only other thing really that I can think of that we should cover is material settings. Okay, so you can do machine or print by print. You can come in here and make adjustments just by clicking on the arrow. And we're going to start going on under the ridiculous level. We're going to be back here. Okay. Under material settings, we can adjust our standard print temperature and our build plate and retraction. Okay. Generally, that's going to be enough for the student, and probably for you guys too, honestly. I mean, once you get things dialed in, most of the advanced stuff is always not even screw it. You know, like first layer at this temperature, the next layer at this temperature. Who cares? The only reason to go into anything further, you can actually get under the advanced, I believe it is. That's pretty good. Okay, good. Definitely that's, there's some that don't have those anyway either. It's cooling. So under basic, you turn it on, turn it off for sake of fan speed. Okay? If you feel comfortable letting the students move into the advanced of this, then they can actually change. Regular fan speed adding. So I can tell it when to turn that fan back on. Like what we were talking about earlier, you know, I do layer 2 or 3, you know, I have it off until then. This is where I can set that stuff. Okay. You know, it's up to you guys, obviously, how far you let the students get into the custom settings. I would say you should be comfortable letting them, I mean, if they're at this point where they're actually going to be printing, they should be comfortable enough to at least be under the basic settings. Possibly advanced settings, depending on if they already have some experience, or they're, you know, show that they understand really good what's going on. And you can actually come in here and create a custom set. So you can actually do a custom selection and create a custom profile of features. So maybe you want them to be able to adjust when the cooling comes on and off, even though they can only have basic for everything else. Okay, so you can actually fine tune all of those settings before the students ever get to it. Okay. to get the students to that point without them knowing that there's all this other options, you can actually export out your settings. So we can actually go under File, you export, and you can just save out a trim. Okay. Put a basic generic model in there, save it as a trim out. That's how they get played. You know, they can change the model out, move it, scale it, whatever. But the rest of the settings are what you had already determined. Okay. So then, let's see, we did the printer and adjusting or adding printers. So if we go under settings, printer, manage printers, this is where we can add a new printer. Okay, so if you want to add your MakerBots to your Cura, so that they have to use Cura for those machines also. The Formlabs obviously, unfortunately, doesn't work. SLS and SLA does not work with Cura. For some reason, can't handle it, and it barely handles stuff like printers. So, not quite sure why. So, what it says under preferences, we actually have access to all the other settings within Cura. The behind-the-scenes, background type of settings. A couple of important ones to kind of pay attention to is this ensure models are always kept apart. So that way, if you have two models and you accidentally move one over the top of the other, if you have that checked, it'll automatically move it off it. Okay? But say I wanted to merge these two models together. I have to have that ensure models are kept apart in order to bring them to overlap. Because if I don't allow that, it will never join the two models together. Okay. The next one is, which actually usually drives me nuts, is this automatically drop models to the build plate. It's actually kind of handy. Figure out what my remote points again. So I'm going to turn it off for a moment. And I'm going to click that, and I want to move it. I want to just move it on the axis. Okay? Or I just want to be able to just like free drag it around. Okay?
You have speed.
No, I just want to free drag it around. Oops. Right. Now, because I have that model, the automatically drop model for the bed, it's going to try to print that, or it's going to put support under it if I have support turned on. Okay, I didn't want that. I was actually just trying to move it around the bed, and now all of a sudden I got it, way at the top of the printer or totally out of the printer. So you can turn that. Yeah, I would definitely just like leave that on. That's just have a good one to have on. And then also, if you right click off a model, you can actually say arrange all models. It'll actually move things around into the most logical location. It will try to nest, but its nesting capabilities suck. So, because it's always using this shadow as its nesting points. So if you happen to have like an overhanging, like say this is overhanging like this, but I want to print that right there, even if this doesn't need support under it or anything, it's using the shadow of this all the way down to the build plate for its nesting capabilities. And also whether or not the models are touching under the preferences. So yeah, ensure models are kept apart, automatically drop models to the build plate, and they're both good ones. Honestly, so both of you guys, when you opened up that model I gave you, how it automatically scaled it really freaking big, like 10,000%. That's because of these two settings right here. Okay, it'll automatically scale anything brought in to the size of the bed. Okay, too big, it will scale it down. If it's too small, it will scale it up. That's usually not a good thing, especially if you're trying to, say, do that model there, your scan model there. You may need to tweak each individual one in order to get them to fit properly. But if you're putting 6 of them on your MakerBots and 10 of them on the 3DP, and it's automatically scaling things, it's never going to match up. So those two I always keep unchecked, because if I need to scale it, I want to have control over how it's scaling.
So those are by default already set?
Yes, those are by default on.
That's stupid too. Yeah.
Yes.
If I bring a part in from SolidWorks, all of a sudden it comes in here, and I'm like, well, what size is this? I don't know.
Right.
I make it like 1.1275 millimeters, and then it's still gonna be off by.
Okay, now, but that's actually a possibility. So if I click on the model and I go under scale, I can actually put in an actual dimension. So if I know that this is actually supposed to be, say, 100 millimeters on the x-axis, I've measured that one, that's my critical axis measurement, okay? As soon as I put in 100, and have uniform scaling turned on, it's kind of important for this, and hit enter, it's scaling the entire thing.
Right, but
Okay.
because I designed everything in SolidWorks, it's still not possibly to be the correct size.
Right. Well, when you export out of SolidWorks, you can actually give it, even though STLs are a unitless dimension, they're still metric. They say it's unitless, but it's still metric. So when you export out of SolidWorks, you just have to specify that the model was created with metric, or you need to be working in metric when you're doing your design.
When you go to File and Save As and you select STL on SolidWorks, there's an Options button. Have you played with that at all?
No.
Okay. In that Options window, it allows you to say millimeters, inches, and so on, so you match your units to the size, or however it's designed in SolidWorks. You can also change how many triangles are going to put on the surfaces.
Yeah, you can tell it
So
coarse,
you can go,
smooth.
of course, fine, you can do a custom setting for that as well. So there is a whole set of parameters that you can use within SolidWorks when you're doing STL. That's the only one I know of that has all of that.
Yeah. Now, the other thing to remember is when you're designing stuff in whether it's SolidWorks or AutoCAD or Fusion or whatever, design life size. Design to final size. Do not design small and think you're going to scale it up, because you will run into, so STLs are not, this is not a circle. This is a whole bunch of little triangles. When I scale, them triangles I don't get more of them. They just each get bigger.
No, I mean, I get all that. What I'm saying is if I have a very specific size in SolidWorks, I'm going to import it into Cura, and then also in Cura, it's just going to say, oh, that's as big, and that's going to make this fucking plane so big, and then I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to work. So if I think I got to try to bring it down to a certain size, that's not going to work, because when I start trying to put motors and
Well, and that's
You can go back to
nice
100%.
thing. Yeah, that's a nice thing though, because if you notice when you brought that other model in, and it said it was 10,000%. So even on here, it's always going to tell you what the percentage is that it scaled it up to. So you can always just come in here and say, change that back to 100%, and now it's back to what it was created with. Okay.
That's the original solid model size.
Right. Now, this happens to be, this was created in inches, this model was, so slicers don't recognize inches. Inches become millimeters.
It's getting very small.
Yeah. So, the green one is the size it's actually supposed to be. The orange one now is the size that it thinks thing, so the snap scaling,
Right, but if I just have that, yeah, going all the way back, yeah, if I just have that automatic scaling thing on there, I just don't do that, I won't have this problem.
Correct.
right, yeah, it will come in at whatever, as long as it's in metric to begin with, it will automatically come in at what it was created at. So, but if it was created in inches, in imperial, it'll come in really, really small. So, now the snap
Yeah, I'm gonna
scaling
convert.
actually primarily only applies to your drag boxes, or drag handle. So I can click on this blue one, and as I move it, or as I move, I'm holding my mouse button down.
Watch out the brake. Especially when you don't sit on it correctly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Wow.
Okay. So as I click and hold the box, you can see the numbers are going up right here. Okay, and they're going in 10 millimeter increments. Okay, if I turn off snap scaling, it's now going to 2 decimal place increments of percentage. Yeah. And that's what the blocks act the same as the arrows on move, or the rings on the rotate. They allow you to just, but because I have uniform scaling turned on, it's moving all 3 of them. If I turn that off, now when I put this green one, see what it's doing to the model. It's scaling just along that exact axis. So it's a way to kind of deform or adjust something, so without having to fully redesign. Maybe you're just doing form fit testing, and oh, this part's just not fitting, it's a little bit too tall. Okay, well, let's scale just the Z a little bit, reprint it. Once you get a print that works, then you could go back to the original model, make the adjustments to the dimensions, make it fit. But this is a great way to make minute adjustments without having to go back to your original design software for a model. And then I can just click this box here, and it resets everything right back to 100%. Just that's the way it came in. So yeah, that's the large and small scale. Both of these two here, I personally think keep them off. That way it's not screwing with your models when you bring them in. This one here, it really doesn't matter. I mean, unless you're bringing in like an entire, say I wanted to bring in the model of that engine. And I want to be able to adjust each component when I bring it in, but I don't want to have to look for it on the bed. Having that on is as soon as that model opens up, a part of the model opens up, it's whatever you're doing is going to be affecting. So whether you're scaling, rotating, whatever, it will be that the last model that you brought in. Okay. So here's another thing, especially if you're going to be using this for multiple machines. Add machine prefix to job name. So like right now you see I don't have anything in front of my file. You guys have CCF in front of yours. And the reason for that is CFF, I think it is. Yeah, custom fused filament. Okay, that's what it stands for. If I turned it on right now, it would probably add ULTM to mine. Because I have this, my alternate broken up right now. now you see it put in the, that way I know it's for that machine. Okay, come in here and do, make about replicator. And I'll put an M in front of it. That way, okay, now I know this model. So when I save these files out, I can save them all to a single device and still know which machine that particular slice is for. So I could slice the same exact model for 5 different machines. Having that on allows me to go in and go, oh yeah, this one's going into the MakerBot, this one's going into the Ultimaker, this one's going into the preset, kind of thing. So, and preferences, settings. This is where you can create your custom selection for the custom profiles over here that we have. We can actually come in, if it has a checkbox, it's available. No checkbox, it's not available. So, do expert, see it turns on almost everything. There's a few that are still unchecked. Like the top surface skin extruder and things like that. Most of the time you're not going to want students to have to mess with that kind of stuff anyway. And then we go back, next one now is printers. Again, this is where you can add a new printer. Okay, or you can adjust machine settings for each individual printer, which is basically how we did our initial setup. It gives you access to all that information again.
So how would I add the MakerBot printer then?
Okay, so in this screen, you're actually going to click Add here. Okay. Then you're going to do a non-network printer. And you could probably do, I don't know if they're networked or not with you guys.
They will be.
Okay. So once they are networked, then you could actually do it under network printer, add by IP. So that's probably the way, if they're smart, they're going to give them static IPs. That's probably going to be the best way to set up your machines that way. Until then, you're going to actually click add a non-network printer. Okay.
So the goal in there, Spencer, is all alongside, and for you too, all alongside the MakerBots, we're gonna have some Formlab SLAs. And then, like the cage, like I gotta set now with the 3D printers, will be shelving unit, desk, shelving unit, desk, shelving unit, desk, shelving unit. So the computers will be on the desk, and so the students are there doing this garbage, they can say MakerBot 1, MakerBot 2, 3, whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, so then what we do is we click on the custom arrow here, which now opens up all the different types of manufacturers who have created profiles. And they have full design teams and everything else that can spend all over weeks and months doing this stuff. For your MakerBots, you're going to actually scroll down to MakerBot. And you're going to click Replicator. So, I don't think Stratus has,
That's not gonna work like that. We have Replicator Plus, but also, Dick's bringing his over, he has the
18s.
18s, so the same MakerBots.
You should be able to, modify once you get it in
yeah,
there.
yeah, you can, so,
So you can change
let's cancel this out.
the heights.
So like I can go here, now, in order to do anything with this, I mean, I can do rename, and I can call it whatever I want. Okay, so once we've customized the settings for it, we could call it, you know, the X, the 2X, or the Z, or, you know, you can give it its own individual names. That way it's easy to keep track of them. And like when you have all of them on shelves, you can say this is replicator number 1, replicator number 2, right here.
And I get that, but the Replicator versus Replicator Plus versus the 18, they all have different
Right.
volume.
So what we do
Yes.
is, so, okay,
Right.
then we can just go under machine settings,
Change.
and we can change it. Okay, so we can actually add 7, 8 replicators, go in and change each one's parameters to match whatever machine it's going to be. And then when we come back out, after we saved it, you can only really mess with machine settings for one machine at a time. You notice this now has italicized letters, because that's the active machine. So in order to change something different, I'd have to click, say, on the 300, and click. You notice I have no buttons that I can select here. Okay? But as soon as I say activate, when the twin powers activate, now I can make adjustments to it. Now I have access to the machine itself. So you could have multiple MakerBots or multiple Ultimakers or whatever, and give them each an individual name. But you can also configure each one specifically for that machine. So if you got 3 different types of MakerBots, you can just give them each their own name and have them fully customized. Okay, any questions? No? Okay, not ready. Okay, so we'll get some material settings and stuff. So here I got the 3DPlatform PLA. Okay. Here's my information. I can fill out all of these fields. Now to get to this point, I start out with generic. I get the material that has similar properties, but not the identical properties that I'm working with. In that case, I'm working with PLA. But say I'm working with a PLA Plus, okay, which has similar properties to PLA, but higher temperatures. So what I'll do is I'll just click generic PLA, and I'll say duplicate. Now I have 2 copies of that same material. So I'm going to one of them. So you notice this is all grayed out. That's the default one. I can't change anything in it. But if I click on this one, I now have access to the entire name. So I can say PLA Plus, it's a generic, you can put whatever brand in there that it happens to be. Important things again, making sure you got the right diameter set here. Okay? And the other thing we want to look at is filament cost right here. I don't know if you guys are going to be charging students for material for prints, but this is where you would set that. So that way when they go to slice it, it gives them a cost estimate. Gives them an idea of about what it's going to cost them to print that part.
How do you change it from pounds to dollars?
Why?
You guys got a dollar sign, most people won't. You know, we're doing the drop down now.
No, why are you? How did you manage that? I didn't know that was an
You're
option.
you're also in the default one, so if you do getting available.
Oh, yeah, you can change the default. You can duplicate it. Now, expand our generic. Scroll down. Oh, it's not active. You got to double click on it. You got to click create. And you can import it. before working, you said double click on something and make it refresh it. And we want to click unlinked material. So now you see how I have it, just the euro sign, do the dollar sign. Shift 4. Okay. And we have the stuff show up in Euro.
Did you download it from ultimaker.eu.com?
You would think it wouldn't make any difference, but maybe it does. Oh, right here, currency.
Alright,
So to show you guys where that is,
It's time for a peso.
just remove any sign whatsoever. So under general. There.
Okay. It's just a sign anyway.
Oh, they give language and currency, but they don't give fee. Yeah.
So that's something that's under marketplace, which I can go with you over there, or you can go over, I'm sure you're fighting the marketplace.
Yeah, well, that's up.
Yeah. But there's one called barbarian units, that does the conversion for you. So those are the systems I like it.
What was that marketplace?
That's right here. You click on it and say install, whatever one you want. So yeah, we looked at this, so under materials, we're gonna go back to my generic, let's supposed to say plus, but obviously I can't type either. Okay, so I'm going to set my diameter. Density actually kind of comes in handy when you're figuring out how much material you're using, because it's always on by weight anyway. So if you're doing a fill material, it's probably going to be heavier than your standard PLA or ABS or whatever you're using. Usually almost every one manufacturer will give you the specific density of their material. So you can put that in there. And that's to dial in material usage. Okay. Then we go under print settings, and this is where we can set temperatures for, and this material will actually show up under our drop down at the top later. So as soon as we close out of here, this will actually show up as one of the materials we can take. Okay. So we're going to change this. That's speed, that's fine. 60C. I don't need that too much of a retract. 1.5. Because I'm working with my HFA. That has to be 5. Standby temperature, now that's if you're printing with both extruders. The temperature it will drop down to, but not below when that extruder's not active. Okay. Some materials, especially PVAs, you do not want it to drop below 175. Because if it drops below 175, then it comes back up, and goes back down, back up, which usually is happening when you're doing support material. It will actually crystallize the material, and it will jam the nozzle. So, standby temp, that's going to be a definite material specific thing. And fan speed, this is, as soon as the fan comes on, what is it setting going to be? ABS is going to be 0. CLA is 100% generally. Tech G is usually between 40 and 60%, depending on manufacturer and stuff like So now we want this one to print in that. So now we have training as a company. We have APLA, all training. And keep that. The color on the screen doesn't matter really for what you're printing. You know, the color you see here doesn't have to match what you're actually running on the machine, because they have no correlation to each other. Usually you want different colors just so that it makes it easy to visually differentiate prints on the back. So let's actually take this down to 7%. This one. I'll take this out. So it makes it visually. Makes it real easy to tell which models are being printed with which issue. That's the main reason I do different colors on any slicer. It's not because I care what the color on the machine, but so I can tell on here exactly which model is where. Which, when you're printing multiple models, if it's printing this one first, with the HFE, and I'm printing all of these around it with the HFA, it says that this is going to get run into with the in some way. That's the main reason for doing that. So, I'm going to have you slice your part, scale it to 1,000%. Slice it for the HFA, which is Cura 1 with PLA.
So, 1,000 should look small. What am I saying?
And use PLA. Get rid of the other one. No, I'm not. And then you work like the model. Like centered like model. Click on it, and then leave it on your keyboard.
So I'd like to look at that class you tried to make to see if we're talking about the same sort of 3D printing how-to class. But one of the things that needs to happen is something that I started a long time ago is really successful, is you need to include the course training in other
Okay, so we're at 11%.
programs that it would apply
So
to.
we're going to go
It would be
back
up
to
to
the
the lead
shelf.
instructor on whether it's a mandatory class or
And we're going to make
elected,
it a
right,
account.
right. That's one thing.
The outer.
The other thing that I'd like to see actually is
All the
a,
parts are going around. No, not that, that's not the info.
certificate.
Yeah, I
And
know.
there's multiple ways we
How
can
many
attack this.
Shows that one?
That one's actually one, but that's the one that
You
we
know,
got.
including
That
a
makes
SolidWorks
sense.
class,
Yeah.
coupled with
Okay, so then we're gonna change those, put those.
3D
in
printing 101 with how to build a 3D printer with, you know, 3 or 4 classes or whatever it might be.
Top layers.
If you start including those sort of things as a certificate, then
You'll
you're
notice
more
that
likely to
it's
attract
actually-
people to go into those classes.
Mhm.
If it's just a
sat here by itself,
You
and
know,
look at it
it's
like,
a
well, fuck, I'm not gonna put it in the
And
class.
that's,
You
yeah,
know,
that's what
that's
happened
great.
here.
That would
But
be
what happened,
the thickness. When you
and
click
some
on the
start
bottom,
to
like
play,
the
some
word bottom layer
are
of
lazy,
that
and they
field,
don't.
as soon as you click there,
So like,
Like
one of the
Rick
things I
got
did,
one on the ground, I guess.
one of the things that I did with Rick and Liz was, I was like, hey, I wanna be able to start taking students from other classes. And I want,
You
and
made that
also,
4
it works both ways, but,
which means now that.
so I started looking at Rick and Liz classes, what do you guys got? It applies, so we started looking at it. I don't wanna take all of their classes, but let's go to the most important ones, so, SolidWorks,
Yeah,
so
you
you
made
our
it 40, you made it 4
US classes, so
millimeters
you build their own parts and
on the
design
bottom.
shit. Microprocessors and microcontrollers and digital circuitry, those three classes,
Yeah,
basically. So now what happened was, we started getting a bunch of
That
students
number.
from them, because we added some classes there as well. So we're getting some of their students, so our numbers are going up. They're getting a bunch of our students. Ours are only elective to their course, but theirs are mandatory in our course.
okay,
So it depends on what
yeah.
what they need, you know, they can't say we have this. So we started noticing a lot of good cross training. And then what we noticed was people, when they saw what we did in UAS, they actually wanted to start taking more classes in UAS.
Right.
And then, so that's one way to make those
Yeah,
classes
and
start building. The
that's
other one
all
was
you
to
The thing to do is look,
get it
rotate them all
involved
around.
in the JTED program.
Yeah, we see a lot of shadow like
Right.
Because
that.
then you're gonna have a bunch of high schoolers,
It would be the-
pretty efficient, and they want hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
They
So I
hate
think
these
I
classes
just
where
click
you're
on
sitting there
it.
not doing hands-on things. Um,
Because Rick started one this semester. And it sounds like it's basically what I was thinking, which is building a little simple 3D printer and then learn how to run it.
Yeah, so that would be like 3D printing, what's 110? When I say like basic 3D printing class, would be like, what is PLA, what is
Okay.
SLA, what is,
Even below, okay, even before that, then.
like what is, ABS, what's all that
So
shit?
now,
What
now that
is,
you rotate your model a little bit,
like defining everything,
You
what is
notice, like,
slicing, what is bridging,
Gotcha.
what is a
Where it's
wrap,
showing a
what is
shadow.
this, what is that,
actually the
Right.
model going up.
And there was a thing that I really wanted to make for the longest time, it'd be pretty big, and I'm gonna end up making it here,
But
but
like
like,
me not need support at all.
it shows like what
We're gonna
infill
find out
is,
here in a minute.
50%,
Yeah.
75%,
Correct.
100%, and then what is bridging, what does this mean, what is a wall thing, does it mean that, and it has, the wallpaper is labeled, and it has representation of every single thing, so you look at, actually gets some visual look.
Yeah, I have a couple of those, yeah.
That's the brand.
And
Right,
then
it is.
go
Rotated
into,
Okay.
you know, that class would be like designing, because it's
So you
like
edge
a
out.
100 class or 101 class, right? So they would import shit from Thingiverse. And this is
Right.
how you
Click on
this is
what
how you
says
import
firmware.
it, this is what an STL file is, this is what G code is, this is what,
Sure.
these things are
Every time
very
you make a change,
basics
yeah.
that they need to know.
Yeah.
And
It
then,
takes you a minute.
yeah,
Yeah, it
how do you, what happened here to the wall thing? So this, with this,
So, you know, we're gonna need the
if you don't
SD
put supports for too much of an overhang, too much of an angle, what can happen? Identifying all the failures and what's the difference, the thermal properties of PLA versus ABS, and why do certain things happen? It's still very basic class.
Right, okay.
I mean, you gotta think,
Yeah.
like, for your level, like, really dumbed down.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah, because I was going, I think, I was going like what you said, like a 110, because I was having them build a little ANET.
And there is a class that was built, and that's probably the one that you're talking about that failed, that is building a, I think it was a Delta frame 3D printer, and it was just basically all of the components of the 3D printer, and how to build it, and then you built it by the end.
Yep.
Right, you walk away, there was a lab fee, you pay the lab fee, you walk away with a little printer,
Yep.
and then, and along the way, we learned how to learn the basics of slicing and that kind of stuff.
There was a,
Go ahead.
a while back, I found a,
Go ahead, it's me here, man.
Okay, so you're due thinking?
one thing, yeah, man, take it. A while back, I found, it was from MakerBot, it was actually a good book,
Mhm.
lesson plan. I showed John and I sent it,
Dick, and Dick didn't want anything to do with it. Because he went this direction where this book actually, it was a whole lesson plan for MakerBot,
Right,
everything was
right.
perfect, it designed, like, it was plug and play for the 100, the 101 class.
Right.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
no, I've got it.
MakerBot.
I went on, yeah, MakerBot's got their book, and then Stratasys has a much even more in-depth.
Actually, they're the same company.
Well, they are now, yes.
But, I mean, we would,
But their Stratasys has their own, has a separate one, and MakerBot.
we don't wanna have like 5 different types of 3D printers in here.
Right.
We're gonna probably stick with just mostly.
Well, Stratasys now owns MakerBot, so it's all the same deal now,
No,
but
I get it.
their curriculum went like way more in depth, which was pretty interesting, but, I mean, now, and a lot of like what you're talking about, like, they went into a lot of the, you know, what is PLA, you know, what are the different filaments, and what is G-code, and into the basic, you know, into really.
So I think that if we created that class, that we're for it will, and then the other thing you tie it into is the 3D printing house thing.
Yes, right.
Because you don't want just a bunch of goons out there pressing buttons and not knowing what the hell they're doing.
Sure.
Right, and that whole
Yeah.
thing, that machine's run off like G-code too. So I think if they took, if they had a class like the 101 class.
Right.
Then
Then it could
that would
branch
tie
out
there,
to, yeah.
So then you get more students from there,
Mhm.
right? And then you tied into like my UAS class,
Mhm.
you get students from there, you tied into Rick and Liz's class, potentially maybe,
Yeah.
if they want to, tied
Right.
into free engineering.
Mhm.
And so then what we do, then those classes start opening up. Not just holding this one class and saying, well, hey, if you want to take this, this will be really fun.
Right.
Most of the people in this college, besides J-Tedders, don't have time for just fun classes.
Right.
Because they're here to get their certificate.
No,
and get
well,
into
no, it's
the
because they're
field.
working professionals, so if you look at most of our students here,
Yeah.
it takes them 3 to 4 years to get a 2-year degree done.
Right, true,
So
right.
they don't have time for all this extra fluffy garbage, but if you put it into a specific classes
Mhm.
as elective choices that were a requirement, then you're gonna get those.
Yep.
And then, once that's done,
So save.
then, you know, then you talk to the main campus, the 3D arts program, and say, hey, this is what we got. We could have this as one of your classes.
Mhm.
Because they are starting to try to get into 3D printing.
Yeah, I guess they've got a 3D printing art class, 'cause that's what I
But
asked
it's,
John.
it's
It's
not.
like,
It's
it's-
3D art. John keeps getting us confused. It's 3D art, meaning clay,
Oh, okay.
building shit.
Yeah.
That's in the 3D, not like 2D is all their drawings.
Sure, sure.
So.
So it's not an actual 3D printing class?
You know.
So you could just say.
Oh.
I was involved with the whole hiring committee
This
for,
one in here too.
and that's, John kept like confused with it. I kept telling him it's not that, but,
Because why
but I thought it
can't,
was too.
because I went to him and asked him, why can't we have, you know, what we've been trying to talk about, why can't you have a 3D printing class that counts as an art credit?
So, when I was helping out with this hiring committee, I was like, why do you guys have 3D printing classes when we have all this shit over here? And I said, well, it's not a 3D printing class, it's 3D art. I said, okay, what does that mean? And so they kind of started explaining it, okay, it makes more sense. So, the reason why they brought me on for the hiring committee, because they wanted to start getting their art teachers more on the technology side.
Okay.
So I started, my questions all revolved around like, what sort of technology you use, have you used it, like, how much is it 3D printing,
Right.
what kind of materials we use.
And then I always.
So they hired a guy who,
By going to, like, under the store or
I
whatever.
don't think he had a whole lot of tremendous experience with 3D printing, but he wanted to, and he has dabbled around with it a little bit. So if we had, you know, a couple of these classes, then what we started doing is exploiting students in the arts department to come and take our classes. Because if we create those classes, then campus can't create, we can't have two of the same kind of classes
Yeah.
in different departments.
Right.
They can't have art 104 3D printing where it's the same outcome, the same shit that we have. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, yep.
So,
Right.
because I don't know.
You think they'll let that happen though? You think they'll let?
Oh,
Well, if
that-
there's an instructor.
This thing's saved as.
But I mean, do you think they're gonna let an art class off of the main campus? You think they're gonna let us do an art, one that fulfills an art credit?
Your hard drive.
Yeah, if it's up to
Politically?
the instructor. If the instructor wants to allow a 3D printing 101 class as part of their program, you can
Okay.
do the mandatory thing, or as an elective, I think the guy is relatively new, to where he's not brainwashed by
Google
arts and
G
humanities
codes.
bullshit.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, is, it- you know,
And maybe
can it count for an art, you know, an
Maybe
arts
have-
humanities?
Yeah, if they put in their, in through curriculum as a requirement, then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And he'd be an idiot not to have some of those classes, or at least as electives, if they're doing stuff. And they call like,
That's where you want to try to get
I don't know what they call it, but it's like they have welding class, but it's not really welding. It's,
Okay.
they try to get pieces of metal together to do this sort of shit. It's nothing like in what we do here.
Right.
But they should, but that's only reason why, is because Robert has actually taken the initiative to go over there and talk to
Oh, it's because code is too
people
written out.
and do stuff.
So, I mean, you can actually go in and edit the G code
Yeah.
using like Notepad.
Okay.
It's not up to the department, it's not up to Gen Ed committee, it's not up to the one person, it's up to the,
You can download it,
Really?
more
Okay.
fancy text edit.
just like you can add, like if,
Work,
you know, if you ran engineering class and you thought,
G code file. And it's actual G code.
they have a witchcraft class, if you thought witchcraft was a good to build your program.
Sure,
you
right.
write their curriculum,
Okay, well,
so yeah,
that saves.
they need witchcraft crystals and healing class.
And then,
Still don't know why they have that class here, but
yeah,
it is a class.
I saw that.
Try to right click on.
Taught by
Oh, you see that little
Suki, who has a doctorate in folklore.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that on the, because I was looking through the pre-engineering,
Oh, you're
JS, and I was looking through the requirements for
Honey.
arts and humanities, and it's on there.
Yeah.
It meets one of the arts and humanities credits.
So many times, it's ridiculous.
So what do you do, just everything we just went over?
Yep, I just had them slice it, get it all ready, now we're gonna take it out to the printer and run it.
Save to the file?
Yep.
What's it saved as? G code. Spencer's cube dot G code
Yep.
dot
There is no other dot.
dot Pornhub dot
Yeah.
com.
No, the Pornhub.com has to come before the .g code, otherwise the machine can't see it. So it has to end with the .g code, otherwise the machine can't see it.
That's come before Pornhub, not after.
Alright, let's go.
How does it be spent?
According to this, a whole 12 minutes, man.
Yes.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, he wrote it, but that's okay.